All right, look guys. Okay,
What is up YouTube? My name is Thomas and today we're going to talk about the difference between the Juka CryoSauna and the Cryochamber. Basically the one we have right here, basically known as the one that has the top cut off so that your head is sticking out the top. And the other one, the Juka Cryochamber, known for being enclosed and having a front glass door. We're gonna be talking about 4 differences between these two guys. Number 1 is gonna be the temperature. Number 2 is gonna be the communication. Number 3 is gonna be privacy. And number 4 is gonna be safety. Number 2 and 3 are gonna be kind of quick. Number 1 and 4 we're gonna spend a little more time on. So number 1, first off, is gonna be temperature. The Juka Cryochamber gets to, well, it gets as cold as negative 320 degrees.
holy my God. My nips. Yeah, my nips super hard.
The Juka Cryochamber, which is not this one, it's the other one, it's the one that's enclosed, the box, gets to between 140 and 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So a pretty big difference between those two in terms of cold. The reason for that is right here, these guys. The Juka Cryochamber works off nitrogen, and nitrogen is one of the coldest substances in existence, known to man at this point. It gets extremely close to absolute zero. It's over negative 400 degrees, and that's actually why we have the 2-part design here of the Cryochamber. This part to regulate the temperature of the chamber, and this part to do treatments. So basically, the cryotherapy chamber, not the sauna, the chamber uses refrigerated air, so it just doesn't get as cold as the chamber does, or the sauna does. In addition to the fact that they don't use nitrogen, they also have to cool a larger space. As you can see here, this is a very small space. In fact, I'm gonna get in real fast so you guys can actually see. It's very small. When I'm standing this way, I almost have it where I'm touching shoulder to shoulder on both sides. There's enough room for you guys to be in here, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying there's not a ton of space, so it makes it a little easier to cool down. My shoulders are kind of, a decent size, so don't worry, you'll fit, I swear. So yeah, it just gets a lot colder. There's really not too much of a competition here. The Juka Cryochamber comes out on top. Real quick, people do wonder about this, and that wouldn't the nitrogen escape from the top? Wouldn't therefore you need more nitrogen to cool this thing than a cryochamber? That's a great question, that's a great point. I would say no. And the reason I say that is because nitrogen is actually heavier than air. That's why when you see footage of people getting a cryo session, you don't see the nitrogen just coming up and going into the air and just dispersing throughout the whole room, you know what I mean? You see it calmly float over the top and kind of just seep over, almost like it was its own ocean. And that's because nitrogen is heavier than air. So it just doesn't rise with air like you would see something like smoke or something would do. So there's that. People would also probably want to ask in this situation, so I'm going to take this opportunity to say something. They'd want to know about the effects of a cryofacial because your face isn't getting cooled. So am I still going to get the effects of a cryofacial without cooling my face? The answer is yes, yes you will. Cryofacials are, basically a matter of getting blood to your face and inhibiting collagenesia. And collagenesia basically is just a substance that breaks down collagen I shouldn't say substance, it's not a substance, but it breaks down muscles and bones, collagen, the collagen in those things. I'm explaining like an idiot right now. But it helps that no matter what. You're not gonna need to get your face frozen down for that to happen. And the next thing is a matter of blood flow. Vasoconstriction, which is the act of pulling the blood from your extremities to your core, happens every single time you enter the chamber. And periodically, your blood, or rather your body, is gonna push your blood back out to those extremities and to the little capillaries in your skin and everywhere else, because it doesn't want a frostbite to happen. It doesn't intentionally just sacrifice these things. It wouldn't intentionally sacrifice your ears, your skin, and everything else. So it pushes this blood out basically to ensure that it stays as long as possible. So you're gonna get blood to all of those little veins and stuff, arteries that usually don't in your face. So yes, you'll have that impact. So moving on to the next thing, number two, this is a small one, but we're gonna talk communication really quick. Basically, when you're in the cryo chamber, you're in an enclosed box. When you're in the Juka CryoSauna, your head is still popping out of the top there, allowing me, the cryo technician, to come right here and be able to communicate with you how you're doing. Are you okay? Go ahead and turn. I'm gonna need you to turn because the cryo, you know, the nitrogen is, you know, it's so much coming from this side. So I can communicate with you a lot more. If we're in the cryo chamber, it's closed. There's a door there. I can't speak with you. I can't see how you're doing or anything like that. So it's just all you for all that time, 3 minutes. The next thing after communication, that's number 2. Number 1 was temperature. Number 2 is communication. Number 3 is privacy. At no point ever at IceHouse Cryotherapy is anyone ever gonna see you naked. I'm just gonna say it. That's not gonna be the case with the cryo chamber. It is not going to be the case. Those glass doors, they show everything. And the technician has to be in there to make sure that things are going okay. You're being exposed to some crazy temperatures in there, negative 180. The coldest recorded temperature on Earth was 120. These are otherworldly temperatures, so you have to have someone there. If you're comfortable sitting in an otherworldly temperature for 1 to 3 minutes in your undergarments, doing a dance to stay warm, you know what I mean? If you're cool with that, that's totally cool, you know, all you. But, you know, I'm sure a lot of other people wouldn't feel comfortable in those circumstances with someone looking at them. You know, there's just a lot of room for a lot of weird things to happen. That's never gonna happen at IceHouse Cryotherapy. That's never gonna happen with a Juka cryo chamber because as you can see, this thing cannot be seen through. It's just like a mirror. You can just see my reflection in there. So like, it's just not gonna be a thing. It's just not. So if safety is something that's important to you, no competition. If temperature, like I said, same thing, no competition. So moving to the 4th and final thing, we're gonna talk safety. And let's just get right into this. Let's jump into this. So here we go again. Opening this guy up because I got something I wanna show you again. I'm gonna bring you a little closer even. As you can see here, this is just like a kind of mesh, right? Is it? Yeah, you can see. So basically, you could touch this, you know, and it's not gonna freeze to you or anything like that. CO2 and air, you know, a little bit of a difference thing between those two is that oxygen is going to be, you know, just water, you know what I mean? H2O, just the way, you know, it works. You're going to end it with like some kind of like, you know, potential condensation. And this is the case in the chamber. So not this one, but the other one. Because this one, the sauna, like I said, uses nitrogen, where the chamber actually uses refrigerated air. This is, you know, okay, you know, all right, so there's condensation, has water, whatever. Then maybe that doesn't sound that bad. But when you couple the fact that they use refrigerated air and therefore there's gonna be condensation with the fact that cryo chambers, unlike cryosaunas, are freaking metal inside. So what I'm telling you is don't touch the wall because you might get frostbite or something like that. So yeah, you won't have that problem with the cryosauna. One thing you will have to worry more about with the cryosauna though than the cryo chamber is the fact that it's nitrogen. You know what I mean? There's gotta be plus and negatives of these things, you know what I mean? So the downside of nitrogen is the fact that we're dealing with CO2. And CO2, as you know, has, you know, basically it can knock you out. Fortunately though, it takes a long time before it actually does. It takes, you know, sometimes hours. Basically the symptoms come up as flu-like symptoms. They'll make you feel nauseous, they'll make you feel, you know, tired, and you know, way later eventually you will pass out. So it's not something that's gonna happen immediately. So it's not a really big deal. Nitrogen, you know, does have that downside though. I should have you know, I have to mention, you know what I mean? I can't just be all biased. I don't think I'm biased. I think I'm being legit. But yeah, so you asked me, the Juka CryoSauna is the winner across the board in every single way. I personally I'm glad we're working with this one. I guess I'll close this video by saying that the Juka CryoSauna, the one we're using now, is the oldest and most trusted CryoSauna brand. It's been around the longest. That's why you see this exact model so frequently. And it's actually why you picked this one. It's, you know, also the extra large variant, so you'll have plenty of space when you get in. And yeah, So that's the difference between the Juka Cryochamber and the Juka CryoSauna, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like if you're feeling generous, you know. Comment if you have any questions. I respond to everything I can. And subscribe, because we're gonna be putting out another video real soon. We put them out every single day. If you're looking for more information, we also have a blog in the description on this exact subject. So you can read on it and get a little more in-depth information. And until next time, guys, see you in the next video. Right after I show you this. Okay, cool. All right, peace.